Who's ready to get a little bit better? If so, comment yes in the comments right now. Woo! Okay, I'm ready to get a little bit better. I'm ready to serve you. And this right here is a conversation I have so much. And I have it a lot in masterminds, have it a lot in coaching, and people use a lot of different language around it. But a frustration that so many of my clients and people I serve they encounter is like they made progress. Boom, they took massive action. They got some new habits in their life and they started thinking differently. They got rid of the limiting beliefs and the self-sabotage. And they're like, I'm on top of the world. And then they drift. Instead of going forward, they go backward and they drift. And so when we have the conversation, it says, Mark, why did I go back? How do I stop drifting backwards into those old habits, those old mindsets, those old behaviors? And so I got 3 points to protect you against the drift. Are you ready? 3 ways to protect against the drift. Number 1, it's going to blow your mind here. This is deep. Are you ready? Number 1, expect it. Expect it. And guess what? You don't have to freak out because it's going to happen. Our natural tendency is to drift back to comfort, to drift back to what we've known. I mean, some of you, you've been doing some deep work and breaking these beliefs off that you've had for 10, 20, 30, 40 years in your life. And you think you're never going to drift back? How? Hey, let's get realistic here. You are not superhuman, okay? It takes work and consistency over time to rewire your brain, to rewire your habits and your behaviors, and you're never going to reach perfection. So instead of freaking out about the drift, expect it and normalize it. Know that it's going to come. You know what? Embrace the rhythm that sometimes you're going to be crushing it on top of the world. And sometimes you're going to be like, oh man, I kind of drifted back into that. Here's the differentiator. Here's what will set you apart. Here's what helps you create the life that you've been desiring is when your awareness increases, right? And instead of drifting back into it, and wallowing in it and living in it and acting like it's home, when you start to drift, the fact that you're asking the question, man, why do I keep drifting back? Like that is proof of your growth, proof of your progress. So stop beating your brains out, condemning and guilt and like shame for even some of you. And start just normalizing it and be like, oh, I started to drift, but you know what? I'm a friggin' rock star because I realized it and I readjusted and I got back in the flow. I got back to that morning routine. I got back and you got back. So normalize it, expect it. You are not broke if you drift. You are normal. All right, just type I'm normal. No, don't do that. That's a bad affirmation. Type I'm extraordinary, but drift doesn't make me weak, okay? That's too much to type, but you get the idea. I'm just flowing here, okay? Number 2, how do you protect yourself against the drift? Recalibrate regularly. Recalibrate regularly. I didn't say calibrate because listen, if you're watching this video, you have calibrated to a standard that is the standard of your life, whether that's a routine or a habit or a mindset or the people, your peer group that you're around, you've calibrated. So I use the word recalibrate because you just got to get back to the setting that you already established, right? Drift's going to happen. You're going to have a rhythm to your life where you're on and you're off. And so you just have to create habits in your life that protect you from the drift. That's how you recalibrate. So for me, I recalibrate on a daily basis. I pull this journal out and I sit down in my living room in a particular chair right by the window with my cup of tea, good English cup of tea. Oh, so good. And I recalibrate on a daily basis in my journal. Your morning routine might be different, but some kind of morning routine. Maybe it's an evening routine and you're unpacking the day and acknowledging your gratitude and acknowledging your wins and saying, hey, here's one area where I could learn or improve. But put habits in your life that recalibrates you regularly. It protects you against the drift. So it could be a morning, an evening routine. It could be literally scheduling a monthly or quarterly personal retreat days where you get away or you go sit out in nature for a day and you just have some time to reflect. Some of you, your habit is meditating and taking that time to recalibrate on a regular basis. Another habit for me is I do goals in 90-day cycles, because 90 days is a short enough time to get a whole lot done, some big goals done, but it's also it's long enough to get something done, but short enough that I don't get distracted. So for 90 days, I'm recalibrating to those goals on a regular basis. I don't have time to waste. And so I have some patterns, some habits in my life that protect against the drift. Another recalibration for me is vacations. That is part of the rhythm of life. It is like I don't compromise on that. And those are times, like extended times away, where I get to recalibrate. So I realign with what is most important, so I do not drift away from my purpose and my destiny. Lastly, number 3, how do you protect yourself against the drift? I feel like I sound like a broken record sometimes, but enlist help. You can't do it on your own. You were created for community. You were created to thrive and grow most in the context of community. So enlist support, ask for help. A friend of mine has taught me a long time ago, tell the truth and get some help. Some of you, you've been isolating, you've been trying to do it on your own, believing the lies that you can't admit your weakness, or that you don't have the answers, or that believing the lie that you can do this on your own. Stop it! Don't do that anymore. Enlist some help. So get some accountability in your life, right? To say, hey, this is my goals, this is my objectives, and get somebody to hold you accountable on a weekly basis with that stuff. Of course, you're going to hear me say, if you want to enlist help, the best kind of help you can get is going to be, I want to make sure I'm saying the truth. Like having friends that would take a bullet for you and they love you and they support you and they're holding you accountable. That's awesome. That is gold. And it is a gift from God, I believe, in your life. But for me, I have some friends like that, but I've pay a coach. I'm in a mastermind. These are environments that protect me against the drift, because every single week, I know my coach is going to ask me, Mark, did you do what you said you're going to do? Are you following through on that goal? Mark, I'm seeing this in your life and that's concerning me. You're getting a little out of balance. Mark, is that the right goal? I've got people, and in a mastermind environment, pushing me, challenging me, calling me on the carpet if I make excuses. I've got protection against the drift because I've enlisted help in the people around me, and you're going to be better. You're going to protect against that drift in your life if you've got the right people enlisted in your life to support you. And that might mean, most likely will mean, if you really are committed to your destiny, making an investment, paying a coach, investing in a mastermind. And if you got friends that are like deep and soul level people that will hold you accountable and push you and not let you make easy excuses, then lean into them. But don't do it alone. Don't isolate, because you need some help in your life. So protect yourself against the drift. Number 1, expect it. Don't freak out. Number 2, put some habits in your life to recalibrate regularly. And then number 3, enlist some help. I'm curious, which one of those do you need to do? Like, make a commitment today to do it, or maybe to recalibrate back to it. You see what I did there? You recalibrate. I use my own point to make my point. Okay, listen, guys, I love you. I hope this has served you and add value to your life. I want you to live into that life that you've envisioned. I want you to have it all. And you know what? You can. You can't do it on your own, but you can have it all. And so hopefully this video will help you take a step in the right direction. This is where you should get off this video and go out there and give your greatness to the world, because somebody needs what's on the inside of you. Don't hold it back. Please, 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 please don't hold it back. Go out there and give it away, because somebody needs you. I love you. Have an awesome day.